This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the HP Stream 11. Nice simple name there. There's also a Stream 13. As you might guess, the 11 is the 11.6-inch model. The 13 is a 13.3-inch model. And what's so special about this? Well, viva la netbook. You remember the netbook craze? This is the netbook all over again, but in some ways better. And it's back because the Chromebook has had some success, especially in the educational market. And Microsoft doesn't want to give that market away. They want to make sure that they stay strong there. But even for you guys who are not buying for K through 12, and let's face it, it says K through 12 educational market in this playful blue color, and it's also available in a pink model. I really hope that they don't give the girls pink and the boys blue in grade school or something like that. But the playful is a smart thing. This is a $199 computer. Right away, you look at it, you say, this is not serious, not meant for work. I don't claim to be doing everything. It doesn't. It's meant to be something that's actually functional for just $199. Again, in your choice of blue or pink, matte finish, fingerprint resistant. Actually, not bad looking and not bad feeling either. It's pretty solid, it's pretty durable. You can handle it all you want, doesn't look bad. We're going to look at it now. All right, so now that we're taking a look inside here, what do you get for your $199? It could even be $179. Some places have had it on sale as low as that, and that is, again, for the Stream 11, the size that we have here. Dual-core Intel Celeron N2840, that's 2.16 gigahertz. It does have boost to 2.58 gigahertz. 2 gigs of RAM, thank goodness, not 1 gig of RAM, because this is Windows 8.1 with Bing. 64-bit though. A lot of the Intel Atom and low-cost tablets and two-in-ones kind of that compete with this we've seen have been 32-bit installations of Windows. So at least you get 64-bit here. And with the Bing part, don't worry about it. It's the same old Windows. It really has to do with a deal that Microsoft cuts with manufacturers. So as long as they don't preload competing web browsers on there, they can get, well, the OS basically for free, and brings down the cost of something like this, where otherwise that would add another $100, a license fee for the actual operating system. So real Windows here, full Windows 8.1, and for those of you who are allergic to the live tile Metro screen, you have your desktop right there too, so good times with that. Quite a surprisingly good keyboard over here. Now, an 11.6-inch one, it's not going to be the hugest keyboard in the world. There is a 13.3-inch for those of you who want more space, but obviously for $199 you're not going to get backlighting, but it has no excessive trampolining, no unpleasant bounce. It's tactile, nice island design keyboard here. Obviously contrasts in white, pretty easy to see stuff, so I have to say I like it overall. The trackpad is okay. It's a little bit oversensitive to edge swipes. You know how that goes. A lot of Windows touchpads, unfortunately, are, so you're accidentally swiping in from the sides. However, you might not mind that too much here, because you do have to use the trackpad to do things like bring up the charms bar. Why? This is not a touch screen here. This is a matte, non-touch 1366 by 768 panel. The Stream 13, which is $229 for the starting price, still is not touch. You still get a matte 1366 by 768 display. But if you want to go and spend $279, that's the list price, you might find it for a little less. You can get a 13.3-inch touchscreen, which I'm guessing probably looks a little bit better. It would be glossy, but it probably has maybe a little bit better contrast. This isn't too bad for contrast. Brightness, as you can tell from looking at it, we're on maximum brightness right now. That's as good as it gets. It's fine indoors. It's not so great if you're in bright and really bright environments. If you're sitting by the window at Starbucks, that sort of thing, it's going to fade a bit. And colors, this doesn't look too bad right here. But if we switch back to the live tiles, which should be pretty colorful, they're not exactly wildly color saturated, but it's not a hideous display at all. If you're looking at it direct on, it's pretty good. It's a TN panel, so that means that viewing angles will suffer. Now from that angle, it's not too bad. If you tilt it back, it's going to start to disappear and invert on. Look at that, it's already doing a little bit of inversion. Likewise, sideways, it pretty well disappears just like that. So it's $199. It's the spiritual successor to the netbook that exists only to compete with the Chromebook. We can only expect so much. I have seen worse displays, that's for sure, even on more expensive laptops, and I've seen some Chromebooks that have, generally speaking, pretty abysmal displays. Chromebooks, again, are budget devices. They usually don't. HP did make the Chromebook 11 that had an IPS display. That was one of the few out there that actually had pretty nice displays. Well, except for the Chromebook Pixel, but anything close to $2,000 better have a nice display. The horsepower inside of this guy, well, it's not unlike budget Windows 8 tablets that are 8-inch in size. Some of them are even 10-inch tablets. So not serious computing power right here. You can run Photoshop if you want. Just don't expect filters to apply super duper fast. For those of you who just do it for light editing, some cropping, a little auto contrast, those kind of adjustments, it's okay. 2 gigs of RAM means multitasking is fairly limited too. You do get a 1-year subscription to Office 365 on here, and say that you've got Word running and you want to edit a photo in Photoshop. You can do that, but if you throw on Netflix via the web browser and Flash Player, or if you're using the LiveTile Netflix app, which is pre-installed on this, but it's free anyway, you'll notice things start to stutter and slow down. This is not a replacement for your average person's computer who needs to get more stuff done. If you have a relative or a kid who just needs to get the basics done, they want to stream some video, they need to do some word processing, social networking, email, that's what this is for. This is not for software development. This is not for CAD. God help me, you'll probably try to run Minecraft on it, but really, it's not an ideal experience. This is Intel HD graphics. Pretty low-end graphics there. In terms of ports on the side, we have 2 USB ports here. One is a 3.0 port, one is a 2.0 port. Little blinky light lets you know that the computer is sleeping at the moment. Combo mic headphone jack works in conjunction with the webcam above the top of the display. That's okay. It's not fantastic. It's not hideous either. Full-size HDMI port. By the way, this weighs 2.8 pounds, so it's pretty light. And it's kind of stylish looking. It's got that HP kind of bevel that they have here, and they've been spelling out Hewlett-Packard lately. That's their new thing that they do. It's surprisingly not bad looking. It's better than the army of glossy, gray, blah affordables that we usually see. At least got some style here. So where you plug in the power charger, compact little power charger it comes with. We've got a lock slot, SD card slot, and guess what? The card goes just about all the way in, so you don't have it sticking halfway out. Bottom, I mean, this is not the kind of machine that anybody's really going to bother upgrading. The internals just really aren't worth it. We have our bottom-facing stereo speakers with DTS audio. They're all right. They're not fantastic. Bunch of Phillips head screws hold on the bottom. There's some rubber covers here that should be concealing some more screws. You get the idea. Again, it's sturdy. It doesn't show fingerprints. It gets the job done. If you gave this to a 10-year-old, I get the feeling it would probably survive just fine. Not unlike Chromebooks with which this competes, battery life is pretty good. In fact, it's better than some of the Chromebooks out there. We managed 8 hours of actual use time, and that's with brightness set at 50%, which isn't super duper bright. I don't know if you can tolerate that or not. Single band Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz. Wish they had dual band in here. Oh well. There's supposed to be a, what sometimes HP labels as 3G and sometimes they label as 4G option. What it is HSPA+, which really is technically 3G. There's not LTE here. Anyway, that model in the 13-inch, the Stream 13 only, not the 11.6-inch we're looking at here. That one would be $299 for those of you who need always-on networking. Unlike a Chromebook, though, where pretty much a Chromebook is a dead weight without an internet connection, this is regular Windows. If you don't have an internet connection, you can use all your Windows programs. You can get work done, so there you go. Obviously, there's probably more for everyday people, more utility in a Windows product. Chromebook is interesting, and it's nice because it's idiot-proof too, Chromebook. I mean, you really can't mess with the OS and change anything with Windows. If you got somebody who didn't know what they're doing or somebody who was malicious or playful in the wrong kind of way, they could trash the Windows installation on this if they wanted to. So that's something to keep in mind. And for the K-12 market, the educational market, probably Chromebook still has an appeal because, well, the kiddies really can't mess with the operating system, but they could here. Another limitation here is 32 gigs of flash storage. That's eMMC storage, so it's sort of like having a SD or MMC card built in internally and permanently. Now, compared to Chromebooks that have 16 gigs, you might think, woohoo, that's fantastic, but you guys know that Windows takes up some considerable space there. So what you really have out of the box after a couple of initial Windows updates is about 14.4 gigs of space. Not room to install a whole lot of big fat programs on there, just some core programs, but given the fact that this really isn't the best one to be running some of the big fat programs today, like your AutoCAD kind of stuff, obviously it's just not really a go on this. Yeah, it's okay. But you can use external hard drives with this, just like any Windows product. So if you have a 2.5-inch portable hard drive, you can use that, no problem. You can install stuff on that. It might take a little tinkering to do that, but you can put all your media on flash drives too, if you want, or an SD card. So. But keep it in mind, 32 gigs of storage, just a little tight, just like the Windows 8 tablets that are out there, the lower end ones. They typically have 32 gigs of storage, so not a lot of space. This is a fanless design. It is very cool, even when you make it work hard for its version of working hard. You know, getting a couple of programs running at once, a lot of tabs open in Internet Explorer. You can install in Chrome on this, by the way, but I find IE actually runs a bit quicker. It uses less memory. It helps. But anyway, fanless design, cool. No place here that's going to burn you. That's nice too. So you won't sound like a little baby vacuum cleaner there sitting in front of the TV while your friends are really having a whole lot of fun watching The Family Guy or something like that. Now we're going to test out video playback on this. We're in the desktop version of Internet Explorer. We could use the Metro version, of course, but you know, without a touchscreen, I tend to spend my time on the desktop. Otherwise, it's sort of like herding the live tile version of herding cats. You know, it's just a little painful to not have a touchscreen. If you're going to hang out in the Metro environment a lot, that's the live tile one. So let's look at our video review of the HP Envy X2 13, which is a higher end Windows 2-in-1 product from HP. Much, much higher end. And you can see I'm using two-fingered scrolling right here. It works. It's not bad at all. This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and here we have something that is a lot like the Microsoft Surface Pro 3, but it's not. Obviously a big HP logo here. This is the HP Envy X2. Yet again, they should use a different model number maybe for these things. Anyway, 2014 edition. This is the... So, yeah, the speakers aren't bad at all there. We have them at about 60% volume right now. Not too tinny. Screen is okay. This would not be my first pick to watch House of Cards on Netflix or something like that. You know, it's not bad. It's much better if you're looking at it directly. It's okay. Again, for $199, I mean, gosh, it's really not bad at all. For those of you who are a bit more performance-minded and like to know your metrics, PC Mark 7, it scored 2607. On a Core i5 Ultrabook, you'll see something closer to 5,000, including the Surface Pro 3, but those also are closer to $1,000, not $199. W Prime at Computed Pi in a very unimpressive 49.3 seconds. That's actually a little slower than the Toshiba Encore 8-inch tablet that we reviewed, but you get the idea of the processing prowess there. Geekbench 3, 64-bit test for a change we get to run on this. Usually in this class of devices, it's 32-bit Windows that's installed. 1023 single-core, multi-core 1802. Again, about half of a Core i5 Ultrabook. SunSpider JavaScript test. It completed that in 304 milliseconds, where lower is better, and that's just perfectly fine right there. So those are the metrics on our little fella. So it's hard not to like it for $199. Your expectations are set low, but even with that, I mean, the build quality on this, the keyboard on this, the display is quite usable as long as you sit pretty much directly in front of it. And with an 11-inch display, even a 13, you probably are. You could do worse. So that's the HP Stream 11, and honestly, for $199, it's just not bad. I mean, you don't get a fantastic, gorgeous display, but it's a passable display. It's a rugged design. It's actually a pretty good keyboard. Trackpad's okay, and it runs real Windows, so if you need Windows applications and your expectations aren't high, you know, you're not going to be doing Visual Studio development on this all day long, obviously, or editing full HD videos, then get the job done for not much money. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to visit our website for the full written review and hit that like button.